Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing okay. I'm going to read through the full article here. It is a tragic case. There is a link in the description. We're also going to watch a short video, part of a video, which is on YouTube, and it's of the mother, and she talks a little bit in regards to the death of her child, and her child is this young lady that you see in front of you, 3-year-old Arely Naomi Proctor Hernandez, who tragically died last fall in a church during a 12-hour exorcism. The mother was present. The mother has been charged in relation to her death, and other family members were also present and involved in the 12-hour exorcism, which led to this 3-year-old girl dying. We're going to read through some of the details in regards to that, so I will apply a trigger warning, and I will mention that the church in which this 3-year-old died is called the Iglesia Apostol y Profetas, if my pronunciation is okay, in San Jose, and it is the same church that Brandon Coelho was kidnapped. Can you remember that article? I made a video just a couple of weeks ago that he had been found and that 3 suspects had been detained. Yeah, this Brandon was kidnapped, and if I recall, he was found in a church. The kidnappers were attendees of the church, if I recall correctly. So that is an interesting bit of information, what the F is going on in this church, Iglesia Apostol y Profetas in San Jose, needs to be thoroughly investigated. So we're going to have a look through this article, as I say. A California mother has been charged in the death of her 3-year-old daughter, who allegedly died during an exorcism at the family's church. Leaders of the church, where Arely Naomi Proctor Hernandez died last fall, confirmed that they performed the ceremony to liberate the girl's evil spirits. I believe the family, the mother, felt that the girl was suffering evil spirits and was possessed because she frequently woke up in the night screaming and crying. I mean, that's what kids do, I'm quite sure. The girl's grandfather and pastor of the church, Iglesia Apostol y Profetas in San Jose, told the news that the girl's death was the will of God. That's the pastor. That's what the pastor has to say after his involvement in the 12-hour exorcism that resulted in the death of his 3-year-old granddaughter. I mean, I've got to say, no remorse. What the hell is going on with this church? Here's a quote from the grandfather, the pastor of this church, which needs to be thoroughly investigated. If you read the Bible, you'll see that Jesus cast away demons and made sick people healthy again, said Rene Hueso, pastor of the church and grandfather of young Arely Naomi Proctor Hernandez, the 3-year-old that died. Here's a quote still from the pastor. It's not when I want to do it, it's when God in his will wants to heal the person. The preacher is like an instrument of God. What we do is what God says. I'm just going to interject here. I grew up Catholic. I have lost my Christianity to a large extent, but I don't know, maybe that's been rekindled. I certainly respect Christianity. I generally respect Catholicism, my understanding of Catholicism. I mean, I grew up Catholic, but I didn't pay too much attention. What's my point? My point is this does not strike me as normal. This acceptance of the death of a 3-year-old during an exorcism to claim that, oh well, not a big deal, that's what God wanted. That's not good enough. That's not a Christian viewpoint. That's not in line with my views. To me, that is highly questionable. And I don't know exactly what's going on. I can't really articulate exactly what I'm half thinking, but I'm half thinking that these guys, I mean, they probably do are fervent believers in their religion, but they seem to be hiding behind it, you know, using their religion as a mask from, or a shield rather, a shield from reality. The reality is these family members, including the mother, subjected this 3-year-old girl to horrific assault, which led to her death. Not because she was possessed, she wasn't possessed, but because of the physical damage the extended assault did to her. You know, she succumbed to her suffering. She succumbed to her injuries because she is of flesh and blood. The mother, Claudia Elisa Hernandez, 25 years of age, had begun to believe that her daughter was possessed because the girl, the 3-year-old, frequently woke up in the night screaming and crying. This part here, we're going to go through some details in regards to the acts during the exorcism, so a trigger warning applies. The mother and the girl's uncle drove 3-year-old Arely to the church at 6:30 a.m. There, the mother, the uncle, and the pastor, the grandfather, spent 12 harrowing hours holding the 3-year-old Arely down and squeezing her neck and sticking their fingers down her throat to make her vomit. The girl died about 6:30 p.m., 12 hours later, with multiple injuries around her eyes, face, neck, and chest. She died at around 6:30 p.m. No one called 911 until 8:12 p.m., you know, more than an hour and a half later. The mother faces 1 count of felony assault on a child with force likely to produce great bodily injury, and is being held without bail. The mother was arrested in February, but details about Arely's death only came to light this week. The mother posted a lengthy YouTube video in January in which she talks about her daughter's death. So we're going to have a look at that. We're not going to watch all of it, but we will have a look at that in a moment. But before we do, I'll just let you know this. The article says that at least one of the suspects in last month's brazen kidnapping of Brandon Coella attended this psychopath's church. Yesenia Ramirez, the woman that was involved in the kidnapping of Brandon Coella, the woman that befriended Brandon's grandmother, at this church, and they planned the kidnapping. So again, I know I've repeated myself there, but what the heck is going on in this church? The pastor has been involved in an exorcism which killed his 3-year-old granddaughter, and another attendee, part of the congregation, a part of the congregation of the church, a regular attendee of the church, targeted one of the other attendees and subsequently kidnapped baby Brandon Coella, which thankfully he was returned, or he was found safe. So what the heck is going on with that? So we're going to have a look at a short excerpt of this video. This is Arely's mother, and she's talking about the death of Arely. So we're going to watch just a little bit of it. Hopefully the audio will be okay.
When she passed away, she was with me. You know, of course, I'm her mom. Why would she not be with me? You know, but it's crazy how it's just a lot. You know, it's a lot, but a lot of people around me, like, I don't know how to tell you guys. You know, it's crazy. You know, it's crazy what you see. Like, how I see, like, people that were close to me, you know, and they can say they care about my daughter, but, like, if you really care about my daughter, you would check up on her, you know, when she was alive. You would post her when she was alive. You know what I mean? But all of a sudden she passed away, and you over here doing all these extra things for what? You know, saying that this and that. Like, no. Like, no.
You can watch this more if you like. It's a 43-minute video. I've only just watched, this little bit. But it just surprises me and shocks me how casual she is. She was involved in the death of her own 3-year-old daughter. She, along with her uncle, along with the grandfather, the pastor of the church, allegedly were a part of a 12-hour exorcism which led to the death of her 3-year-old. Her 3-year-old suffered multiple injuries around her eyes, face, neck, and chest. She basically, the article doesn't tell us exactly, but given that her neck was being squeezed on an ongoing basis over the course of 12 hours, and all of them seemingly were sticking their fingers down the girl's throat to make her vomit. I mean, this is horrendous stuff. And here is the mother casually sitting in her car on a Sunday sunny afternoon, having a little bit of a chit chat, moaning about how uncaring other people are towards her child. What is wrong with people? I mean, does she not have any level of remorse? Does she not realize that she was the one responsible for the death of her child? Or rather, she was one of the 3. Does she not realize that? I mean, that's my takeaway. My takeaway is she doesn't realize. She's deluded. It is my takeaway. Now, the article, disappointingly, doesn't give us any information in regards to any charges laid against the pastor, the grandfather, or the uncle that was mentioned. The article somewhere does say that the mother is the only person charged in this case, which strike me as incredibly odd. If all 3 were involved and held down and strangled and forced the young girl to vomit multiple times and caused these injuries to the girl, I can't understand why the pastor and the uncle aren't also charged. I don't know what the answer is there. I presume that more information will come out in regards to this, and I will be tempted to make an update if there is a good amount of information provided. But yeah, there's a lot of oddities here. Of course, look, we're all allowed to believe whatever religion we believe, but I mean, this belief from the pastor, the grandfather, that if a child dies during an extended exorcism, then that's the will of God. That's just not good enough. That does not work with modern day life, Western civilization. Doesn't fly. Doesn't fly, grandfather, pastor of this church, Iglesia Apostol y Profetas. Doesn't fly. And this guy deserves to be charged for his involvement. I don't like the fact that he seems to be getting a bit of a pass, as is the case with the uncle. So I do hope that the investigation continues, that the mother, Claudia Elisa Hernandez, at least she'll get what's coming to her. I hope she gets a very long sentence. And that's really all I can say on this. So I'm going to wrap things up at this point. If you do value this type of content, I know it's been a little bit messy. I will try to put links in the description for the YouTube, so you can check around a little bit more if you want to get a bit of an insight to the mentality of a mother responsible for killing her own child. Then you can check that out. But I'll thank you for your time and take care.